Welcome to Ramses III's temple, one of the most famous rulers, as technically he is the last powerful king ruled the country in almost 1100 BC, and after him the curve getting down and we getting been occupied by different occupations during the 22nd dynasty, 25th dynasty by Nubians and so on. But Ramses III, we found his mummy, and it was with another group of royal mummies being discovered together, and it was with the other royal mummies for a long time. We don't know anything about it except it's well preserved until we had a surprise. This surprise started just few years ago when we decided to send a group of archaeologists to different museums around the world to translate the papyrus which have been taken from here. So we sent a group of Egyptologists to British Museum in London, to Berlin, to France, and there is a lucky group been sent to Turin Museum in Italy to translate one of the biggest papyrus been discovered, and it's always shown there and been neglected with all the stuff. Turin papyrus, there is no one just thought to translate what's written inside this papyrus, and they believe that it's same like all the other papyrus been discovered until we got the surprise. When they started to translate this papyrus, they found it's a real judgment for the killers or assassinators of King Ramses III. And we called it the harem conspiracy because actually it's been planned by one of his secondary wives and her son, so the king's son Ben Tower. So it was like a shock for us. So once we read this, we left the papyrus and we've been back to the mummy to make X-ray, and here was the surprise. We found that the king been killed and they cut totally his neck and been well mummified, and we found the missing toes from his feet. That means the story that there is the assassinator came from the back and started to use one axe on the king's feet, cut one of his toes, so he fell down, and then he came from the back and cut his neck. So it was like a shock for us that the mummy, it was in front of us for so many years and we never discovered this, and it well mummified. Then we've been back to the papyrus to see what happened. So we found that the story continue in different chapters, that they could to find that one of his wives, secondary wives, she planned for this to let her son to follow his father, not the royal son Ramses IV, but Ben Tower, because the throne should going to follow his father, the royal son to carry the royal blood from both sides, father and mother, not from a secondary wife. The secondary wife, in case there is no royal son, so it goes to the second son or the secondary son. So we found in the different chapters how the judicial system it was investigating in this crime, who killed the pharaoh or the king, and they started after many months. They succeeded to know that there is so many innocent people, so they just released them. And who involved it? First, she was the secondary wife and her son Ben Tower, and then involved some people, high ranks and high employed and priests and ministers around the King Ramses III. We called it the harem conspiracy because it's a story. It's done in one of the famous temples, which we're going to see it tomorrow, Medinat Habu temple in the western bank, where the king used to organize like a big Olympics games, and he prepared like two towers, one for the kings and the high people and all the men, and the second tower we called it the harem tower for ladies. So the secondary wife, his wife, she used to exchange the messages from the harem tower to the main tower just to plan and to choose a suitable moment to assassinate the king, and they succeeded in this. The last chapter talking about the punishment for all who participated in this crime, and they ordered all the people around the king, included the priests and some ministers and some guards, to be committed suicide, and they not mummified, they been thrown in desert for the wild animals, and they killed the wife and not been mummified. But the most difficult punishment, guess what? It was for his son, because that is from his blood, and he accepted to kill the father.
Yeah.
So, would you like to know the punishment?
Yes.
Can you guess?
Death by cobra.
That is the easy. That's the easy one.
Alive.
Yeah, be castrated.
He can't have any.
Oh no.
Chopped,
So you can't have any children.
skinned and then quartered.
Can be a little bit similar.
Like
So
that, the other line, like
they mummified him alive.
Immortality.
You remember when I mummified you, Stephen? So they opened here
my
and they
God.
take all the organs while he's still alive. So once they taking the organs, you can feel the pain. So he was screaming from the pain and he died. But due to this pain, it make like a shock in the mouth bones. So he died like screaming.
Grimacing, yeah.
And that is explained another mystery for a secret mummy we found it. We always used to call it the screaming mummy. They wrap it in a dirty goat leather and they put it in a wooden coffin without any names or titles. And we started to do DNA, and the surprise, that was him, his son Ben Tower, and he been mummified alive. So that was only from one papyrus. We succeeded to know so many mysteries, revealing the mystery about the death and this conspiracy, the harem conspiracy against Ramses and the screaming mummy. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, yeah.